I went into college and I was in one of the worst depressions I've ever been in my life, and that leaked over into everything. I've dropped out. I started dancing. I hated myself so much. I got into dancing again because I didn't really know anything else and I needed to make some quick money. And then I ended up working in North Dakota. That's where I met this woman. She's a leader in this group that reached out to dance, so she would come by the house. I became friends with her, and I told her that I was moving to Pittsburgh, and she's like, well, you should get a hold of Shannon. She works at the Abundant Life Ministry, and she'd be really great to talk to you. And I got a hold of you email, right?
So you moved to Pittsburgh, danced for about a year and a half, correct? And then in October of 2015,
Yeah.
left the industry. Can I ask what caused you to leave the industry? To make that final decision to
A couple different things. I was dating a guy at the time, but there came a point, it was in October, where we were sitting down having a dinner, and he was just like, I can't handle this anymore. And that was kind of the real catalyst. But I think that it was a lot more. I think that I was kind of almost looking for that out. Because when you're in it, you don't realize that you can have that. You don't realize that there's another side to it. That there's so many million of other things you can do. And then if somebody kind of offers you that out, you're you grab onto it.
So you felt stuck.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. Well, that's a brave decision to make, to leave that industry. I know it's not an easy one to make. And I believe 2 months after that was when you first contacted me. And I know you had said you were struggling with some things at the time. What were some of the things? Now, you weren't dancing anymore, so you weren't subjecting yourself to that lifestyle. But what were some of the ramifications of having been in it for so many years?
Just feeling uncertain. Mostly it's just the fact that you're so used to being in a world that's really toxic. You're used to people touching you unprovoked, in horrible ways. You're used to people saying the worst things to you, management treating you like just absolute garbage. You're used to just absolute abuse on all sorts of levels. And I was looking for that ugly, and it didn't exist. I mean, it exists, but it didn't really exist the way that it did in that industry. And that's why I struggled so much, because I was having almost an identity and a security crisis.
Understandably so. This summer you came and you met with Sue and I, which was again another brave step. It's hard to walk through those doors and meet two people you've never met before. And you came in and you just bared your soul to us. And just how did you feel that day meeting with us?
I felt like I was understood. I felt like my story wasn't up for judgment. I felt like my story was, and I don't want it to diminish my experience. I felt like it was heard before, meaning you guys had experience in understanding why I felt this way. Sue even said something to me that I didn't even realize, that I felt the fear of exposure. And I wasn't able to formulate those words before. But when she said it, and I don't remember what it is we were talking about exactly, but she said you having a fear of exposure, and it just was a light bulb moment. That was it. It felt like I was understood on so many levels that it's hard to in a lot of places in everyday life, because not a lot of people are privy to those experiences.
Well, we have a cool story that I thought we could share, but evidently our lives were connected, unbeknownst to us. So we started reading Hind's Feet on Hind's Places together. And I remember you brought your book in during one of our counseling sessions, and you had a little note card stuck in it. And you flipped through your book, I was like, oh, I recognize the note card, because there's a certain one I typically buy to give to the women that we minister in the industry. And so at the end of the counseling session, I asked if I could see the card, and I remember you pulled it out, and it was my handwriting.
Yeah, I remember that. It was it's craziest moment. It was so serendipitous, amazing. I was shocked at that moment. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was almost faded in a way, I think.
I agree. I know we both kind of teared up a little bit over that because it just showed just the mighty hand of God. And, you know, we've talked a lot about in our sessions about God's fingerprints on your life. And I think, do you agree, looking back now, you can see that he sort of orchestrated your steps and that he very much wants healing for you?
I very much think that there was a lot of his work in my life. I look at all the kind of like the steps and all the places I've been and all the people I've met that have led me to one thing versus another, and all the choices I've made, and good and bad, and it all kind of led me through that into this, and I'm probably more happy than I've been in a lot of places in my life, which to me is saying a lot, because that to me feels like I've begun to overcome like the real reasons beneath everything that I did, beneath every poor choice that I made, because there's always a core reason.
Yes.
And I feel like I've really started to actually chip away at that, you know, and I feel like God has like led me that direction.
But I've just stood in awe of how I've seen you change since I met you, and just really 8 months is a short period of time. How you've gotten your life on track, how you've walked away from the industry, and not only that, I think you sold the clothes, gave the clothes away. You've just gotten rid of everything, right, that reminded you of it.
Exactly.
So where are you now? Do you have hope that you didn't have before?
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind that I'm in a much more blissful place than I was before. I just feel happier. I don't find myself kind of looking over my shoulder as if there's always like disaster right around the corner. I was kind of just like, I'm a little bit more at peace and just happier.
You know, the one thing I think that the center is founded on is love, and loving people wherever they are. And do you feel, have we helped to show the love of Christ to you? That's our greatest aim.
Definitely. I don't think that no one that I've ever met through this place has ever been anything short of amazing. Like, everybody's been like so nice, and it's almost like a shocking change to go from like where you were to like people that are like, oh my gosh, like tell me your story, tell me like how you feel, like let me pray for you. Like, it's amazing to like see people that actually like care and actually like, you know, do that for you, because a lot of people, and I can guarantee you that a lot of girls in that industry, that toxicity leaks into their lives. You can't be doing that and have the most healthy relationships. I guarantee that there's a lot of people in their life they can't turn to, or that are toxic for them, and it's like amazing to come to a place that is the opposite of that.
I think it's so cool that, you know, we put a different scripture in all of the cards that we give to the women that we minister to, and your scripture that I gave you that day over 2 years ago was Jeremiah 29:11, which says that God has plans for you, which is for a future and a hope and for good things. And so I know you said that you have hope in your heart now. How do you see your future now? How has that changed from when you first started this journey?
I actually have like a pathway. Like before, like when I was in the industry, like it was like kind of almost indefinite in the way that I didn't really have a set idea of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, all those key points you have to hit eventually in life. And I finally actually feel like, okay, I have a 5-year plan. I have like even a 1-year plan. I have where I want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years. Like I have this more clear-cut idea of really kind of who I am. I now have a better idea kind of who I am. I don't see only the negative things about myself. I see also the positive things. So, yeah.
You're the daughter of a king.
Yeah.